Hi students, so we have completed our DNA replication. Now it's time to move on to transcription. But in this class, I will not be taking the lecture session and a new teacher will be joining us in this channel, Dr. Aritri. She is the Associate Professor of my medical college and now I will hand over the slide to her.
Hello student, today we will start one new topic, that is RNA metabolism. So this one is a very important one in molecular biology. In previous classes you have completed the replication and repair mechanism for DNA. Now we will proceed to different mechanisms for RNA. Before that we need to know how many types of RNA are there in our body. Let's see, there are 5 major types. These are mRNA, tRNA, rRNA, snRNA and microRNA. You must know what these RNAs are doing actually. So, messenger RNA or mRNA, it encodes for the amino acid sequences for the polypeptides. tRNA or transfer RNA, it transfers the amino acids to ribosomes during translation or protein synthesis. rRNA or ribosomal RNA, it combines with the proteins to form the ribosome. snRNA or small nuclear RNA, snRNA combines with proteins and it has role in eukaryotic RNA processing. And finally microRNA, it alters different functions of mRNA. So you need to know these 5 RNAs and their functions before we proceed to the metabolism of RNA. Next we need to know the flow of genetic information. Basically the genetic information is stored in DNA and this information is required to conduct different functions in our body, which is done by proteins. So that genetic information must be transferred from DNA to protein by means of RNA. This unidirectional flow, as you can see, it is known as central dogma. You can see the information is flown from DNA through RNA to protein. And obviously you must be knowing what is the exception for the central dogma, which is present in retrovirus. In case of retrovirus, that genetic information can backflow from RNA to DNA. This is the exception of central dogma. So we will be discussing these mechanisms. See, we have discussed the replication, which is synthesis of DNA. Now we will discuss synthesis of RNA. This synthesis of RNA is from DNA. This mechanism is known as transcription. So we will be discussing transcription today. So what is transcription? Transcription is the process of synthesizing RNA from a specific region of DNA. Now why I am highlighting this specific region? Because in this long stretch of DNA, when the replication is basically replicating the whole stretch from the DNA, in case of transcription, while synthesizing RNA, only a small specific portion of DNA is actually transcribed to synthesis DNA, and that specific portion is known as structural gene in our body. So if you are asked what is structural gene are those part of DNA which are basically transcribed to synthesis RNA. Now we will proceed to prokaryotic transcription. Basically in the transcription, just like replication, you need to know the basic prokaryotic transcription and definitely the eukaryotic transcription, which is a bit complex and complicated part. For going through the prokaryotic transcription, you need to know what is template strand and what is coding strand. Now as you can see that DNA, we need one strand from which the code will be copied to RNA. Now that strand is known as template strand. This is the template strand. See, in the double stranded DNA, this is the double stranded DNA. This 3 prime to 5 prime strand, this 3 prime to 5 prime strand is the template strand, and from this template strand RNA is actually synthesized in 5 prime to 3 prime direction. So this strand is the template strand. This strand is the template strand. Now you can see this 3 prime to 5 prime strand is the template strand. So basically the complementary nucleotides are attached here in the RNA from the template strand. Now if you can see the opposite 5 prime to 3 prime strand, you can see the code is just similar with the RNA, only exception is uracil and thymine replacement. So instead of thymine in DNA, in case of RNA there is uracil. So apart from this difference, RNA is basic, the nucleotide sequence is just similar with the coding strand or the 5 prime to 3 prime strand. That's why it is actually called coding strand, because the code of RNA and the code of 5 prime to 3 prime strand in DNA are just similar. Whereas in case of template strand, the code, nucleotide code is complementary. So let's see once again what is template strand and what is coding strand. The template strand is the strand from which the RNA is actually transcribed, and the coding strand is the strand whose base sequence specifies the amino acid sequence of the encoded protein. Means the code of the DNA strand is similar with the code of the RNA strand. So because they are having similarity, that strand is known as sense strand, whereas the template strand is called the antisense or non-coding strand. Now let's see what is the important enzyme. Obviously it is RNA polymerase, and because this RNA polymerase is dependent on the template strand, the RNA is synthesized based on the template strand of DNA. It is also known as DNA dependent RNA polymerase. The requirement for the enzyme function is definitely one template DNA strand, all the 4 nucleotides and magnesium ion. Yes, RNA is transcribed from 5 prime to 3 prime direction. Now, if we see the prokaryotic RNA polymerase itself is a multi-subunit enzyme. It has multiple subunits. So, in case of prokaryotic RNA polymerase, that one single RNA polymerase is having multiple subunits, and it is basically that multiple subunits are functioning in different ways. Whereas in case of eukaryotic system, there are multiple types of RNA polymerase which are doing multiple types of functions. So this is one very important difference between eukaryotic RNA polymerase and prokaryotic RNA polymerase, that one single RNA polymerase in prokaryotic system is doing multiple functions through multiple subunits, whereas in case of eukaryotic RNA polymerase, there are multiple RNA polymerase doing multiple types of function. Now we will see what is promoter site. Promoter site is the sequence of DNA which basically initiate or the transcription. It means it actually promotes the transcription. It signifies in which area the transcription should be started. Let's see what are the different promoter sites located in prokaryotic system. In prokaryotic system, you can see there are 2 different regions. One is -35 region. See, one is -35 region, another is -10 region. In the -35 region, the sequence is TTGACA, whereas in -10 sequence, -10 region, the sequence is TATAAT. Now these 2 promoter sites are having 2 different functions. That -35 region, it is the recognition site. It acts as recognition site where the RNA polymerase binds, and that TATAAT, which is located in -10 region, here a stable complex of RNA and DNA are formed. So basically the RNA polymerase actually binds in this region with the DNA strand, and finally coming here that binding is stabilized. Now, just like replication, here also in transcription there are three different phases, that is initiation of transcription where the transcription has started. Finally, following the preliminary initiative phase, there is strand elongation in the elongation phase, and finally there is termination of transcription. So these are the three different phases. So let's see prokaryotic RNA polymerase in details. This enzyme, as we have discussed, this enzyme is basically a multi-subunit enzyme. So let's see what are the different subunits. This prokaryotic RNA polymerase is having basically 6 different subunits, amongst which there are 5 core subunits. 5 core subunits. This alpha 2 is actually 2 alpha. So in the core subunit there is 2 alpha subunit, 1 beta subunit, 1 beta dash subunit and 1 omega subunit. These 5 is forming the core subunit. Along with that there is 1 sigma subunit. That sigma subunit along with the core subunit, it is following the holo enzyme, the total enzyme. Now let's see what are the different functions of different subunits. Starting with the sigma subunit, this sigma subunit, it basically recognizes the promoter site, the site where the initiation will be started. The alpha subunit, it determines the portion of the DNA which is to be transcribed. Beta subunit is the main polymerizing enzyme, main polymerizing subunit. Beta dash subunit, it actually opens the double helical DNA strand. It opens two strands of DNA. Now, rifampicin is one such drug which basically inhibits the prokaryotic transcription. It inhibits the prokaryotic RNA synthesis. How? This rifampicin basically it binds with the beta subunit of the RNA polymerase. So you can see if it binds with the beta subunit, the main polymerizing function of RNA polymerase is lost. That's how it inhibits the prokaryotic transcription. And I must mention that just in case of DNA replication, the DNA polymerase, DNA dependent DNA polymerase is having high fidelity, high proofreading function that is lacking in RNA polymerase. While synthesizing RNA, that proofreading function is a bit poor. Now let's see what happens in initiation phase of prokaryotic transcription. Basically, the RNA polymerase actually binds with the double-stranded DNA non-specifically. In a very non-specific region, the RNA polymerase just binds. And definitely because it is a non-specific binding, it is having low affinity. The binding strength is very low. Now, that RNA polymerase slides over the DNA and it searches the promoter site. Finding out the promoter site with the help of the sigma subunit of the RNA polymerase, the binding became stronger and it forms the closed initiation complex. Why it is called closed? Because the double strands, the two different strands of DNA are yet not separated. Now, at the promoter site, that association of RNA polymerase and the DNA strand becomes strong. You can see the RNA polymerase, this bigger molecule is the RNA polymerase. So it basically binds occupying a large region of DNA, but while it occupies the promoter site, only then the binding becomes stronger. Now here the sigma factor is present which helps in finding out the promoter site. So here you can see the closed initiation complex is formed. So after the closed initiation complex is formed with the help of the beta dash subunit of RNA polymerase, formation of open initiation complex is there. Means In the -10 region, where there is predominantly adenine and thymines are present, there is unwinding of DNA strand and there is formation of open complex. So there are unwound two different DNA strand along with one RNA polymerase enzyme, that is forming the transcription bubble as well. Now the RNA polymerase reaches the initiation start site where the first nucleotide is attached with the help of the beta subunit of RNA polymerase. The beta subunit is having the actual polymerizing function. Now, after addition of first nucleotide, the subsequent nucleotides are attached by the beta subunit along with formation of phosphodiester bond. But the initial phases, initial few cycles of synthesizing the nucleotide chain is abortive. Means after adding a short chain of nucleotide, that chain is detached from the template DNA strand. This type of abortive cycle goes on until there is one stable 12 base pair long nascent mRNA is formed. There is formation of one stable strand, which indicates the stable start of transcription. After that, the sigma subunit is detached from the open initiation complex and that signals the end of initiation. So, we will proceed to elongation phase. Elongation is very similar with the replication, where the DNA dependent RNA polymerase keeps on attaching different new nucleotides and keeps on forming the phosphodiester bond. Here you can see the transcription bubble formation. In the transcription bubble, there is RNA polymerase which is attached with the template DNA strand. There is also the non-template strand which is present. Along with that, there is the nascent mRNA. This is the nascent mRNA which is hanging from the template strand. And as you can see, unwinding and rewinding goes on in the elongation phase. So, definitely while there is unwinding and rewinding, there is supercoiling as well, and that supercoiling is released by topoisomerase. So, RNA polymerase, it keeps on moving towards the DNA strand as well as unwinding and transcribing. The speed of transcription here is 40 base pair per second. Definitely the codes are complementary to the template strand and similar to the coding strand. And as we have discussed, the RNA polymerase is having a mild proofreading activity. Now, the prokaryotic termination, in two different ways the prokaryotic transcription can be terminated. What are the two different types? One is factor independent, another is factor dependent. And what is that factor? That is rho factor. So, where the rho factor driven termination is there, it is the rho dependent termination, and when the rho factor is not present in the process, it is the factor independent one. In the factor independent termination, where the rho factor is not present, it is basically based on a palindromic sequence, and that sequence is rich in GC region followed by multiple A. See, in the palindromic sequence, in the template strand, there are multiple G and multiple C followed by a poly A tail. So, this type of palindromic sequence, it signals for the termination of transcription, because while this type of sequence are transcribed in mRNA, that mRNA form a type of hairpin loop. Let's see what happens. In the transcribed mRNA, there are multiple G and C. and they are forming intra-chain bonds, which is forming a hairpin loop. So basically, let's see, this is the sequence in the template strand which is rich in GC, followed by a poly A tail. Now these, in the mRNA strand, this G is making bond with the C. So this is the side effect of having palindromic sequence. Now, in the template strand, consider this is the template strand. When the mRNA is formed having palindromic sequence, what happens? This new strand, now after getting separated with the template DNA, it is forming the hairpin loop. So basically the strand is, the nascent mRNA strand is actually detached from the template strand. So this type of hairpin loop, it signals for the termination of transcription. In row dependent termination, there is one row protein which is present throughout the elongation phase and it helps in termination of transcription. This row protein is a hexameric protein and it has both ATPase function and RNA DNA helicase function. So it basically separates the RNA DNA strand with the help of helicase, and definitely that energy is provided by hydrolysis of ATP via the ATPase activity of the row protein. Now there is one CA rich region which is known as root element. That root element actually indicates for activation of the row protein. What basically happens, this row protein, it binds with the nascent RNA segment and it follows the RNA polymerase until the RNA polymerase reaches the root element where the RNA polymerase is halted. Once the RNA polymerase movement is stopped, the row protein basically reaches the RNA polymerase and it snatches off the RNA polymerase from the RNA DNA hybrid, and that RNA DNA hybrid also separate with the help of helicase function, and that energy is provided by ATP hydrolysis. So this is how the row factor helps in termination of prokaryotic transcription. So this is all about prokaryotic transcription. To summarize the prokaryotic transcription, you need to know the initiation. In the initiation, you need to know the function of RNA polymerase, the sigma factor which helps in identification of the promoter sites. The different promoter sites you need to know. Next, with the help of beta subunit of RNA polymerase, polymerization started. Once a stable nascent mRNA is formed, the sigma factor is detached, which initiates the elongation phase. In the elongation phase, just like the replication, there is addition of complementary nucleotides and chain elongation, and finally with the help of row factor or without the row factor, with the help of palindromic sequence, prokaryotic transcription is terminated. So this is all about prokaryotic transcription. Thank you all. See you in the next class.
So students, how was your new teacher? Please let us know in the comment section. We'll be making more sessions in molecular biology and various other topics. Both of us have more plans for this channel. So thanks for watching. Till then, bye and take care.